dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another weekly broadcast, MoCo Resistance. Today is April 11th, year of our Lord, 2024, with episode 27. In this instance, we're going to continue our interview series in this election year and talk to Mariela Roca. She is a GOP candidate running for Congress for District 6. So today the game plan is as follows, but before we go into the game plan, we'd like to thank new listeners and viewers to the channel. Thank you for giving us a chance, and for those that follow us on a regular basis, welcome back. We ask you to please subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Rumble, and Telegram, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. So today we're going to talk about, of course, what is Congressional District 6. We're going to talk about the incumbent, David Trone, who is not going to run for the same seat. He has decided to run for Senate. And we're going to talk about him being a racist bigot. And then we're going to talk about the GOP primary candidates that are on the ballot. Finally, we're going to talk to Mariela Roca. This is her second stint at running for Congressional District 6, so we'll talk about that. All right, let's get started. So what is Congressional 6? So Congressional District 6 is the light blue area right here that covers Montgomery County, Frederick, and goes all the way to the west part of the state to Garrett County. So we have a very spread out area that encompasses District 6. It's highly urban, it's highly rural, so it's the best worlds for both. And in terms of where District 6 falls in Montgomery County, we have Damascus, Clarksburg, Poolesville, Germantown, in the green area right here in front of you. Okay, so this is a very important year for elections, and we have good candidates, and we're here to present you the people who are running to represent conservative values. All right, let's get started with incumbent David Trone. So he has been in Congress since 2019. He's seeking a Senate seat vacated by Democrat Ben Cardin. So he's a member of the corrupt Democrat political establishment. He only comes out, every 2 years. Again, you only see him in elections. He's the election groundhog. You see him only once in a while. He supports heavily open borders. That is destroying the country. He supports CRT. He supports using state funds to pay for accommodating illegals. He's 100% behind Bidenomics, and he's also fully supportive of the Green New Deal. But as of late, we have some breaking news from Mr. Trone, and he has been involved in a controversy where he used a racist slur when participating in a Congress hearing. So this is what he said, quote, "So this Republican jigaboo that it's the tax rate that's stopping business investment is just completely faulty by people who have never run a business," he said. "They've never been there. They don't have a clue what they're talking about." Representative David Trone, District 6, arrives to the U.S. Capitol before the House voted to keep the government funded in March on Thursday, January 18th. So what does this word jigaboo mean? It's a slur word used. It's a pronoun, offensive. It's a noun. Sorry. It's plural jigaboos. It's offensive, used as an insulting and contemptuous term for a black person. So it's basically equivalent to the N-word. So this is what Democrats do. This is what Democrats say. And again, this reaffirms our statement and our baseline assessment that Democrats are the racist, Republicans are not. And here you go. And of course, if this was being said by someone on the other side, oh, you would have heard it nonstop, 24/7, CNBC, CNN, everywhere, NPR, MoCo 360, Bethesda Magazine. Yeah, you would have heard it everywhere. But he says, Democrat, they're going to hush it up. They're going to protect them. So we're going to see a video now of what he actually said.
Could be much clearer. Something has to be done that's absolutely outrageous. And government businesses don't make decisions on investment, which creates the jobs based on the tax rate. I've made in my past life hundreds of millions of dollars of decisions each year on budgets and to build new buildings, enter new states. And not one time ever in the history of my life did I say, what's the tax rate next year? What you look at is, can you compete? Can you do it better than the other competitor? And with that, can you create a P&L statement that works? And the tax rate, that's after the P&L. It's never, ever once been a consideration. So this Republican jigaboo that, it's a tax rate that's stopping business investment, it's just completely faulty by people who've never run a business. They've never been there. They have not a clue what they're talking about.
Okay, let's continue. So here are point 3 GOP primary candidates where we talked to Chris Heiser. He presented his platform and what he stands for. There's Dan Cox, and we have Mariela Roca, who will be talking to us today. Then we got Tom Royals, Neil Parrott, and Brenda Thiem. Sorry if I mispronounced your name again. So let's get started with Mariela Roca. So this is Mariela Roca. She's a Republican. This is her website, www.rocaforcongress.com. Jurisdiction, Frederick County. She filed for federal in last year in the 7th of April. This is her contact information. And we'd like to welcome Mariela to MoCo Resistance. So let's get started with the interview. So welcome, everybody. As promised, we have another interview this week. We have Mariela Roca, who's running for Congress District 6. Hello, how are you, Mariela?
I'm doing great. How are you, Harold?
Great. Busy, but I imagine you are busier than me.
Always busy with campaign, kids, and just life in general, but we got to keep fighting.
Exactly. On that note, so the first question is, we ask all of our interviewees, are you part of the resistance?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. This is why I'm running, because we have to get people that love this country and don't want it to be destroyed and go down the wrong path. And, that's why I'm running, because we can't keep voting for the same kind of candidates over and over.
Exactly. And everything after the last elections, 22 and 20, a lot of things have even gotten worse in terms of the economy, society, violence, crime, inflation, and of course the big elephant in the room is the border crisis that we're facing right now.
Absolutely. I say this to people every day from the moment I decided to run in 2021 and until now. Every single day is just another validation that we got to stay in this fight, because things are just getting worse and worse every single day.
Yeah, that is concerning, and that's actually one of the reasons that we've created this channel and the Spanish channel, La Resistencia, in order for us to start, telling the residents and people across the state and across the country about the truth of what's going on. It's the information you get from mainstream media is not really reliable, and the information that politicians in charge give to the public the information is biased and it's not correct. So we've created this channel, and we're thankful that we're reaching all corners of the county, and we have gotten a good response. So thank you for joining us today, Mariela.
No problem. I'm glad that you're doing this. This is amazing. We've got to get the word out.
Exactly. So the first question is, why are you running this time?
Yeah, so I like I mentioned, I ran for the same seat in 2022. Originally was part of Congressional District 8, and then after redistricting 2 months before the primary in 22, the maps were changed. And I'm a firm believer that you should live in the district that you're running. And living up here in Frederick, my residence changed from Congressional District 8 to 6. And I'm really truly running mainly number one for my kids. I've got 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son, and I'm just scared to death that they're not going to have the same country and opportunities that I had growing up. I'm also an Air Force veteran. I served in the military for 6 years, and I love my country too much to just see it go down the path that it's going. Back in 2005, when I enlisted, I raised my right hand and was willing to die for my country. And I just feel like I didn't go all the way overseas, thousands of miles away to fight for my country and then come home and see how in just the past even 3 years, things have gotten so insanely crazy. And I think that we need more individuals with life experiences that are passionate about making our country move forward. I think that's the main reason why I'm running, because I love my country too much and I want my kids and everybody's kids to have a better future.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a political person, but I saw what was happening in the county. And for instance, for me, my story is that I was against the mask mandates, and because I saw my kid at the time, she was in 3rd grade, my daughter, and she came home from school like basically she looked like she had been running all day, but she was just wearing the mask. And she wasn't breathing right, physically she wasn't, she just was not healthy in terms of her wearing the mask every day. So there was a public audience by the council, and parents and teachers and everybody said, please don't extend the mask mandates. It's unhealthy for a kindergarten and young kids in school. You're taking away a learning mechanism, because if at that age kids learn visually through looking at your face, facial expression. So if you take that away, you're going to have a bad impact on their learning right off the bat as they start going to school. So that's one of the reasons why I threw my hat in politics. So I resonate with your story. So kudos to you, and also thank you for your service to the country.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. And I mean, that's how we met last cycle, is you were running and I was running for the same seat, and we're all fighting for the same purpose, for the same cause, and we helped each other out. Unfortunately, didn't make it through, but it's not a loss, because
No.
me for myself, I've learned so much.
Oh yeah.
I just decided that I'm going to give it another shot, because I just feel so strongly about we really need people that can get in there and bring the voice of our district.
Exactly. So it's a good segue to jump into your platform. Can you talk to us about what your platform is?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, my platform is common sense leadership and common sense solutions to the problems that are facing our country. All the issues truly that are the top issues, in my opinion, that are facing our country is number one, and foremost, the border. Our border being wide open is absolutely destroying our country. It's affecting crime. It's affecting the economy. It's affecting the inflation. It's affecting jobs in our country. So I am 100% for securing the southern border. I think we really need, being in the military, law and order is very important to me. And if you're coming into this country illegally, you're breaking the law immediately. The economy and inflation we really have to reduce our government spending. We are spending like drunken sailors every single day.
Exactly.
And the crazy part is when you start digging deep into some of these bills and things that are being passed by the federal government, you see how a bill that's supposed to be securing the southern border, let's just use that example, they try to keep inserting earmarks and pet projects for things that don't even have anything to do with the southern border. And it's absolutely crazy the amount of money that we're spending in the federal government and in this country, and protecting our constitutional rights. As I mentioned earlier, I served in the military. I fought for my country and the right for our Constitution. And I'm very passionate about, as an Americans, we have God-given rights that shouldn't be taken away, like protecting the Second Amendment. I am very pro Second Amendment. I think, of course, at the end of the day, I don't want bad guys going into schools and doing bad things, but bad guys are always going to be bad guys. And if you try to take away a law-abiding citizen's right to bear arms, the bad guys are going to be bad guys no matter what. They're going to find another way to do what they want to do, and that's not the solution. I think we have a very big mental health crisis in this country that needs to be addressed. Really, honestly, just the things that you're saying nowadays that's been happening is just absolutely mental health crisis.
Yes, I agree completely. Let's go into your platform directly in your website.
Okay.
So for everybody watching, listening, it's rocaforcongress.com, and she has a website, and there you can find all the information about Mariela. But one of the things you mentioned is inflation. Okay, so the government, correctly, you said that they're spending money like drunk sailors. That's correct. So economics 101. One of the reasons how the economy suffers inflation is when the government spends a lot of money. So they're printing money and they're sending it overseas, not even expending it here in the States, where people need a lot of relief in terms of housing, in terms of medical expenses, in terms of just your fellow veterans who are demanding a lot of attention, but they don't get it. We have a lot of issues with the homelessness, and we could use that money for that. We could use money for education. For instance, in this county, in Montgomery County, we can use it to hire more cops and hire more teachers, but the money's not spent correctly. So yes, that's one of the reasons why we have inflation. And the question to everybody listening is, are you better off now than you were 4-6 years ago? That should be in your mind. All right. I wanted to touch on okay. So
yeah, if you hover over them, that gives you more information.
Okay. Yes. I didn't know that. Okay.
Then,
so yeah. Go ahead.
Also wanted to say at the top up there, if anybody's watching, you can toggle between English and Spanish under where it says store at the top. So
Okay.
If you change it to Spanish, it'll translate everything. So that's an option for anybody watching.
So right here, you can change it to Spanish.
Oh, I gotta fix that.
Yeah, right there. That's fine.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, great. So yeah, let's talk about the southern border and how this issue has been polarized, in the mainstream media. The border crisis hits basically a lot of points, and namely, it hits illegal immigration and how that's illegal. First of all, it's not legal, and second of all, the people coming in are not coming into an economy that is growing, that is booming. I would understand if we needed more people to come in, if the economy was moving, but you do it through legal channels. But that's not the case either. The economy is not doing well. People in the middle class are being forced out of the middle class into the low income class, and low income working class actually are having a hard time, even more than ever before, in terms of making ends meet every month. And what does that produce? That produces reliance on government assistance. And what does that do? Create a lot of pressure on government resources. So illegals, they come illegally, and they're putting pressure on local and state and county resources. For instance, in some schools, I've heard over the last 6 months, some schools are actually resorting to sending their kids learning remotely via computers, because they need room for the illegals to come in. That's in New York, Chicago, and I think Boston. I heard. So
Mhm.
that is not correct. So if anybody has any questions about why is this is happening, it's very simple. Do you have an answer for that, Mariela? If one of your constituents says, if you get in the campaign trail, you get asked, why is this happening? Why is the Biden administration letting these people come in?
I mean, nothing that happens is accidental, in my opinion. I think what the Biden administration is trying to do is undermine our country by trying to bring people and use it as a talking political campaign point of we've got to help people that are wanting asylum. But if you look at the kind of people that are coming through the border, the majority of them are not coming for asylum, because if they did, they would go to a border patrol station and request asylum. They're coming in, they're bringing crime, they're bringing fentanyl, and it's just absolutely crazy that the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, has an open border.
No, and that is actually and it's not happening by accident. They're bringing in previous episodes, I've talked about how the Democrat Party is using this to replace their political base, because, as we know right now, minorities in the Black and African American community, in the Hispanic community, Asian community, and other communities, and Middle Eastern communities, they are switching parties because they are seeing the truth about what's going on and how they've been used for so many years, decades. And you can go to Twitter, you can go to Facebook, and or Telegram, and you'll see and hear people, denouncing that they've been lied to and that they're actually switching parties because things are not looking great, and they're realizing this. You gotta look at history. Who freed the slaves? Republicans. Yeah, who actually voted, supported their right to vote? Republicans. And in the other party has lied, has fought since 1861 to preserve slavery, to deny rights to African Americans. And people actually, don't realize that, but the Democratic Party has not changed since then. Has not changed.
Nope.
So that's what we're seeing right now. And again, thank you for throwing your hat again into the mix, because we need our representatives to be conservative and to fight the swamp. Would you say that we're fighting a deep state?
Absolutely. I think we are. Another thing that I wanted to mention too about the whole border and immigration that I've heard is, Democrats are lying to these people that are coming to this country. They're telling them, go vote, go vote. You're going to get everything that you need. But I've heard stories of people listening and going to vote, and then when you go get your citizenship, voting in a federal election when you weren't supposed to, I think, and I'm pretty sure that it's an automatic disqualifier to get your citizenship.
Correct.
So if that's true and the Democrats are lying to these people coming into this country to that extent, is absolutely insane and crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the effort by the Biden administration to, pay with our tax dollars to fly them in, pay for their stay, food, shelter, room and board, health services, and pay for their legal services. That is insane, because as Americans, the regular average American all over the country is having a hard time right now. They have to pay. They have to, if they don't get insurance via the Affordable Care Act, they don't get insurance coverage through there, if they don't have a job, or they can't get it through their job, they get punished, and they get slapped a fee. And so that also is putting a lot of pressure on the finances of regular Americans. So yeah, we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of themes that we could talk about. But what would you say are your three top platform points?
I would say my top three is number one, securing the southern border. Number two, fighting for parental rights and protecting women in sports. My daughter is a competitive athlete in her school, and I just think men should not be in women's sports, period. There is no if, and, or buts.
That should be logical, right? It should be a
Yeah,
no-brainer,
right
right?
there.
Yeah.
Empowering parents and
Yeah.
protecting students. I'm a very hands-on parent, and I want to know what's going on in my children's education. And the one right next to it is school choice. I really think that school choice should be an option for every single parent, no matter what your income is. It shouldn't just be for lower income parents, because we're seeing in the climate in the last couple of years, schools and the government think that they're the parents, and that's not true. I'm the parent, and I, at the end of the day, should have the final say in what my child is being taught. So I think at the federal level, we should have some sort of school choice legislation where federal funds follow the child. At least for me right now, I had to take my son out of public school, so he's in private school. So I know how difficult it is to sacrifice and try to put your child into another school, a private school, and not every parent can afford that. And that shouldn't be the case. Everybody should have access to whatever school options that they want for their child.
Yes. Yes. I agree with empowering parents and protecting the rights of parents and their kids to participate in, you don't want boys participating in girls sports. Yeah, I have 3 daughters, so that resonates with me highly. But it should be an issue that a lot of parents should be concerned about, because that's what's going on. If your daughter plays any sport, and with the current administration, and if the administration doesn't change, so the same thing is going to happen. A boy can play in with her, and that's not that's not right, because
Science is science,
yeah,
and it is
the
a
other
scientific fact that
yeah.
male and women anatomy and bodies are not the same.
Yes. It's kind of ironic how in 2024 we have to say follow the science. There are two genders, and of course we're not against in this channel. We're not against the LGBT gay community. We welcome
Absolutely.
them. Yeah, we welcome them, but we're just saying that as an adult, we're still living in a free country. If you want to worship the rock behind in your backyard, you're welcome to. You have the right. You have the right to live your life as you see fit. But in terms of indoctrinating our kids and letting boys play with little girls in sports, that's not correct. That's not right. So follow the science should not be only pertaining to, for instance, other issues like the pandemic. The other side, was really high on following the science, but this is the science. So you should follow the science all the time, not when it fits your narrative.
And then I think the third one would be protecting our constitutional rights.
Yep.
I think that the Constitution is the bedrock and the foundation of our country, and is the reason why our country is the most powerful country in the world, where anybody can come here. Anybody can come to this country, and as long as you work hard and do the right thing, you can be anything that you want to be. As I mentioned, it says it right there, we have God-given freedoms, and the Biden administration is trying to take that away from us. And you're seeing that historically, what has happened to countries like that, like China, where the CCP
Yes.
taken.
So a lot of people, like in Twitter and Telegram and Facebook, and also a lot of people that I talk to, when I go to the supermarket and stuff, because I always have, always try to, inform people. But some of them say, what are you talking about? A Chinese or a communist or a Marxist invasion. It's like, okay, so most Americans have not lived through communism or Marxism. They've never lived it, because we have a great military that has allowed us to live in a free country. And if we had some wars, for instance, the Vietnam War or the Korean War or the Cold War, those were wars to stop the spread of communism, right? So people who come from other countries, like myself, I come from Bolivia. I know exactly what communism looks like. I know what exactly Marxism looks like. And other people who come from Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and others, we know what's going on. We know the signs. We know the first thing to go out in terms of saying that something is not right in terms of the Marxist agenda being in the country is the takeover of the mainstream media. So the mainstream media has been lying to the public since a long time ago, and that's the first step you take as a Marxist if you want to infiltrate a country. You get into a country, you take over the major posts, academia, health, communications, mainstream media, and you go on, entertainment, Hollywood, and then you infiltrate all those areas and you push your agenda. What do you think the transgenderism agenda is? Is basically the avoidance and the removal of natural law, the removal of religion, the removal of family values, the removal of the nuclear family in our society. So that's what we're living through, and a lot of people don't know, but it's already here. The barbarians are knocking at your door already if they haven't done so. So that's what I mean when we say the Marxist agenda and the narrative are already here and they have an agenda. And going back to my earlier comment about the Democratic Party, they haven't changed their agenda since the Civil War, and they want to finish it. They want to destroy the country. So, okay, thank you, Mariela. Let's go to the next point, which is, okay, what makes you different this time in terms of your campaign, in terms of what you learned from the last election cycle? What makes you different from the other candidates, and what are you bringing to the table that's different from last time?
Yeah, so what's different this time around since our last campaign? You know how they always say name ID is really important. I think that, my 2022 campaign plus the one that we're doing this time around, we've just had more time to get our message out and connect with voters and be out in the community with people listening to their concerns. I've had people that are registered Democrats that are also unhappy with the Biden administration and the radical far left Democrat Party that are willing to vote for a Republican. Because I believe that most people that are at home, it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or whatever, most people at home are more in the middle and they just want the craziness to stop all over the place. So we've been able to make better connections this cycle. Our fundraising has already doubled from what we were able to fundraise in 2022, which I think is a direct reflection of we're just able to connect more with voters and getting support. Also recently received a huge endorsement from former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, which I know that endorsements don't help you win in a campaign, but really honored and happy that someone like him, we were able to sit down and talk about me, my experience, my qualifications, the race, and the fact that he believes in me so much to officially endorse and kind of validate the kind of candidate I am this time around is amazing. Oh yeah, so here we have a tab of all the endorsements that we've received so far. Speaker Gingrich, VU PAC is the next one. It's one of the biggest organizations in DC that help Republican women get elected to office. And then I think we have two more local ones. Mayor Burhan's the mayor of Newmarket, and then Michael Guerin, Carroll County Commissioner. I just think that I'm the type of candidate that really is able to resonate and connect with voters. We've had candidates in the past in the seat, all nice people. I don't really have anything negative to say about anybody, but we've seen that they just cannot win a general election. They can't resonate with the type of voters that we have in Montgomery and Frederick County, which are the two big counties that we have to win the seat in the general election in November. And I think you scrolled by, was there another map here? No, it's at the bottom. If you keep going
Oh, okay.
after this. The feedback that I get is, it's impossible for a Republican to win in Maryland. If you look at this map, you see the majority on this map is red. Now, I know that the majority of the population is in Frederick and Montgomery County, where you see the most blue,
Correct.
but especially the Hispanic community, minority community, is in Frederick and Montgomery County. And we're starting to see a shift, especially in the Hispanic community,
Mm-hmm.
where the Biden administration is trying to, all of a sudden, I don't know if you saw the video they posted, it was Vice President Harris with some Hispanic music in the background. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you've taken advantage of the Hispanic vote for so long, and at the last minute, you're trying to. But anyways, being Hispanic, I'm from Puerto Rico. I speak fluent Spanish. I can resonate with voters. And one thing that I've really noticed with the Hispanic voters in this district, they haven't been reached out to. They don't know what the politics look like in this area. So I think me, with my ability to connect with them, that's going to be key in the general election. And then secondly, my resume. I was in the Air Force. I was a federal employee for 10 years here in Frederick at Fort Detrick. For the last 15, 16 years, I'm aging myself. I've worked in medical supply chain logistics, which is another thing that I feel like sets me apart from any candidate, even on the Democrat side, is I'm the only person that has any kind of supply chain logistics experience. And our supply chain is something that I think we're not talking enough about. You saw what happened during COVID.
Yep.
We were brought to our knees because the majority of our PPE, masks, gloves, and everything come from China. And
Exactly.
now we're starting to see that go into pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
And I fear that we did not learn our lessons during COVID, and all these other things are happening. And especially today, what happened with that bridge here in Maryland, that's just been horrific. But that's also going to affect our supply chain.
Oh yeah, that's going to be economic disaster in terms of the not even local or regional, but countrywide supply chains. That's going to have a large effect. Well, thank you, Mariela. Any last thoughts? What would you say to a regular? What would be your message to a regular resident who probably hasn't heard about you, and it's his or her first time hearing about you?
I would say that, I want to serve you, represent you in Congress, because just like you, I want my country to be the best country that it can possibly be. We can't keep voting for the same kind of candidates that have time and time failed us in the general election. We really need someone that can win in the general election. And I believe that my background, my qualifications, my resume speaks for itself. I'm a mom. I'm in this because I truly care. And I hope that if you're anyone that's watching this that's still on the fence on who they want to vote for, that you can go to my website. It's, like you mentioned, rocaforcongress.com. You can read more about me. My contact information is there. If anybody has a question, you can always email me, call me. I'm pretty responsive. And just really hope that I can earn your trust and your support in your vote on May 14th.
Well, thank you, Mariela. Good luck to you in your campaign. And again, the reason we're doing these interviews, is to make sure that every resident is aware of the candidates that are out there. And so a well-informed resident is someone who can make an intelligent decision on when it comes to primaries and who to vote for. And we need GOP members in Congress. We need GOP members in the state. We need Republicans in the council. We need Republicans, conservatives in the Board of Education. So this is a push for this to be a reality. So thank you, Mariela. Thank you for fighting the good fight. Good luck in your campaign. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, that has been the interview with Mariela Roca. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. And again, we ask you to please subscribe to our channels and YouTube, Telegram, and Rumble, and follow us in Twitter and Facebook. We are heavily active in those accounts and would like to engage with you. We would like you to also spread these videos in your family and social circles, because we need to get this information out. Our objective is to create awareness of the general resident in the county, so that resident is well informed when it comes to elections and is well informed of what's going on, so he or she can make a smart or intelligent decision based on actual facts of what's going on in the county. So thanks again. See you next time. Join us. Join the resistance.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.